You're watching Meet the Movie Press. Coming up, we're going to be talking about Warner Brothers' bad week between Johnny Depp joining Fantastic Beasts and Rick Famuyiwa leaving The Flash. Stay tuned.
Welcome to Popcorn Talk, featuring movie discussion, news, and interviews. Popcorn Talk. We talk movies. And now, here's Popcorn Talk's Meet the Movie Press.
Wow.
You know what, Jeff?
Wow.
If only there'd have been some movie news to talk about this week.
We have nothing to talk
It's been
about.
such
Thank you
a
for
quiet
watching
week.
Meet the Movie Press. Have a great weekend. My name is Jeff Sneider, senior film reporter at Mashable. And I'm with me, as always.
Hello. I'm Simon Thompson. You can find me on Twitter at ShowbizSimon, on Instagram at ShowbizSimon, and on Facebook, this is Simon Thompson. I work for Reuters, Forbes, IGN, BBC.
You name it, he's worked there.
Yeah, I'm like a fart in a lift. I'm everywhere, but nobody wants complete ownership.
You know what? I own it because I'm that kind of guy.
Mashable will own your fart.
All right. So much to discuss. Did you have a good week?
I did. I had a really busy week. I obviously started it in New York with the cast of Why Him, Bryan Cranston and James
okay.
Franco. I now know what James Franco calls his penis.
Don't we all, though?
Cutting edge journalism. I'm sure that Newsweek are just on the phone, dying to have me on board.
At every club I go to, that's the password.
James Franco's penis. But yeah, so no, it was good, very good. And then I've had a really busy week this week. There's been a lot going on.
Wait a second. Do you guys notice how Simon didn't say what it was? Is this like a scoop you're holding up?
He doesn't call it the scoop, but it's certainly more than a handful. It is actually something I'm holding back until the holidays, because the holidays aren't anything without a euphemism for James Franco's penis.
What a gift that will be.
This is a highbrow show. Seriously.
Indeed. And speaking of highbrow, it doesn't get much more highbrow than Fantastic Beasts.
Yeah.
And where to find them.
Big news this week.
Whoa, out of nowhere.
This was something that
3
Warner,
weeks before opening.
Yeah, Warner, I don't think we're very happy about this last week, because the first screenings of the movie happened this week for media.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And there is a cameo.
Can you believe it?
Yeah, I mean,
Warner Brothers movie with a cameo?
and obviously then the story came out about Johnny Depp.
It's Johnny Depp.
Being in
It's
Fantastic
Johnny Depp.
Beasts. Yeah.
What now? So, obviously, a lot of hard feelings against Johnny Depp lately
Yeah.
after certain allegations were made by Amber Heard.
But also the fact that people haven't been putting their hands in their pockets to go and see the films that he's been in even before that in any great numbers.
It's been a rough few years.
Yeah.
I thought Johnny Depp was good as Whitey Bulger, but it's been a tough few years for Johnny. Anyways, he has joined Fantastic Beasts.
Yeah.
He has a cameo in the first film, and he's going to co-star in the second film. Now, obviously,
is.
these movies are still about Newt Scamander.
Yes.
Eddie Redmayne is the star.
Yeah.
This is not going to become a Johnny Depp movie, but he's
as-
going to have a significant role in the sequel.
As with the Harry Potter movies previously, they're very much a case of ensemble pieces.
Now, there was, it was a polarizing casting, to say the least.
Yes.
Reaction was divisive. Or was it? So Simon's going to give you the results of a poll in just a second. But
Yeah.
when I saw I think I was just checking Deadline, honestly.
Yeah.
I don't even think that they blasted anything. I just on a whim went to the site, and it was at the top of the site, and it had been posted a minute earlier.
Yep.
And so I didn't see a blast yet. I didn't see any tweets yet, and I tweeted out the news. So I may have been the first person to actually tweet the news, and I got flooded with hate. I mean, every response that I saw was just negative, and they couldn't believe it. Of course, people don't understand how the movie business works.
No,
And that Johnny
absolutely.
Depp wasn't just cast in the movie; he was probably cast a year ago.
Yeah.
And shot his part a year ago.
Yeah.
Way before any of this stuff surfaced. But Simon, what did the people tell you?
Well, I obviously... I did a poll, and the question I asked was, Johnny Depp to co-star in J.K. Rowling's Fantastic Beasts sequel, ? Good news or bad news? I can't decide. I didn't want to put my opinion on this. I wanted to be completely open. So 25,307 people, which is quite a large
Is this
sample.
on your Twitter feed
This
or
is on,
Forbes?
this is on my Twitter feed.
Just your Twitter feed?
Just
You got
my Twitter feed.
25,000 people responding?
Yeah,
Look at you,
25,307
show off.
votes. Verified by Tom Cruise, and
That's
what can I
true.
say?
That's
That
the
is true.
Tom Cruise stamp of approval.
So
go on.
here are the results.
Yes.
The options were hell yeah, oh hell no, and meh.
Did you pick those three?
I did pick those three. I'm an adult. I do that kind of shit. So 31% was meh. So 31% of those people were indifferent. Okay. Mm-hmm. Oh hell no which was the reaction that you and I were getting from people,
Yeah.
24%, which means that Hell Yeah got 45% of the vote,
Okay, not bad.
which
Not-
is really interesting, and it's different to what we were getting on the ground. And 25,307 is a decent size
But
sample.
at the same time, if you're like casting a major role
Yeah.
in an important movie,
Yeah.
you want a little bit more than a 45% approval rating on a casting, right?
You do, but these movies are bigger than the cast.
Of course.
In many ways.
Oh, yes. I like it's hard for me to believe that people will really steer clear of this movie just because Johnny Depp's in it for 1 minute.
Yeah.
I don't really think that this affects the opening, but there definitely were a few people, whether they're lying or not or just posturing at the moment, who are like,
Yeah.
I'm not seeing this. Like, I'm not giving him my money. They don't understand how it works, but
Yeah.
it was not well received, and coming back to back with the Rick Famuyiwa news.
Yeah.
And I hope I'm pronouncing that right, Rick Famuyiwa.
I believe so. That's how I say it.
Anyways, he was the second director to leave The Flash.
Yeah.
Following Seth Grahame-Smith. This is not a good look for this movie right now.
It isn't. I mean, it's creative differences again, as far as I understand.
Yes.
But we don't know what that is. But we do know that Warner is so desperate now to keep the DC Universe movies pushing forward and getting not just financial success, but at least some love from critics, just to make better movies. I mean, they're not making the movies for the critics.
Listen,
That's bullshit.
the
but
Wonder Woman trailer came out yesterday, and I thought it looked great.
I think it looks great. I'm positive about that.
Yeah, it looks super cool. Now, Suicide Squad looked amazing. So Warner Brothers marketing department is full of very gifted people.
Yeah.
I believe they are maybe the best in the business.
Yeah.
At cutting trailers and that kind of
Yeah.
stuff. But it's basically fool me once, that kind of thing, or twice if you're counting Batman vs Superman. Although I never really thought that looked that great in terms of the trailers and stuff.
No.
Anyway, so Wonder Woman looks great, but they need the flat. Like, I wonder if they got ahead of themselves really in announcing movies for the Flash and Cyborg, because I don't know. People seem to have their Flash fill with the CW show. You know what I mean?
Yeah, and I think it's always to me, it's a little almost unsettling. I don't mean that in a oh shit my pants kind of way, but it's just when you've got two universes running concurrently, where you've got one guy playing the Flash and then someone else playing the Flash. For me, it just doesn't sit quite right.
Here's the other thing: is like the casting.
Yeah.
So I love Ezra Miller. He's a great actor. He's
Yeah.
a very good young actor.
Yeah.
Warner. He's in Fantastic Beasts as well. He kind of links these.
He's a massive Harry Potter
He kind of
nerd.
links these two stories. But he's a character actor. You know, he's like
Yeah.
the guy who's great as the Flash in Justice League, surrounded by a bunch of other people. Having his own movie, like, he is not Ben Affleck or Ryan Reynolds.
No.
Like, this is a dicey movie already, as far as I'm concerned. Meanwhile, I wonder like what it was about Rick Famuyiwa. Like, I think he left the project.
Yeah.
You know, it wasn't like
And
he
it's a big call when you're a director at his level, when you get a studio movie like that. But we're seeing a lot of directors when films do, they go to complete and they go to release. And a lot of directors who then step away from the projects, even the last couple of years in the superhero genre, who've come out and gone, that's not the movie I wanted to make. There was a lot of fingers in this pie.
That's the thing. I don't understand creative differences when he just got hired, like, why hire the guy if you're not down with his vision?
Well, it's also kind of like the creative difference maybe the fact that it would be completely different if there weren't so many fucking creatives involved. So you just got to walk away. If everybody comes to the table with a vision.
Sometimes
it works and sometimes
for
it doesn't.
Marvel. Like, I think THR even has a story today. Like, do directors matter in the Marvel universe? And I think it's silly to say that they don't. They absolutely do.
Yeah, they do, absolutely. But I think that the pressures that Marvel are feeling are very different to the pressures that DC are feeling.
I don't think Marvel's feeling much pressure.
Exactly, which is the big thing. They don't really have to prove much now.
This is it's just a bad PR look for this movie, which is probably going to have to get delayed unless they get somebody really quickly who can just come in there and kind of shoot the storyboards they already have.
Yeah, I mean, that kind of thing has worked previously. I'll use Marvel as an example on Ant-Man. Edgar Wright took that so far along the road and had been doing so, and then Peyton came in.
And it was great. It's
And
my
it was a
favorite
great
Marvel
movie.
movie.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
I agree that, listen, this movie could still be saved, so to speak, but it's going to take the right guy. And also for Rick, like Dope is a good movie. Did you see Dope?
Oh, I fucking love Dope.
I really like Dope, but Dope did not do business.
No.
Didn't do well.
No.
And then he went on and did Confirmation, which I saw with Kerry Washington, which I didn't really like. So, like, it doesn't look good for him either. It's just, it's sad all around.
But
'cause I was
sometimes if you're a
looking forward to
director,
this.
you've just got to sometimes go, well, am I going to sail on the ship that might have a hole in it? Or do I get in the lifeboat and just go, I'm just going to find a different ship?
Who would you like to see step in? Anybody come to mind?
Do you know what? I haven't actually thought about it. But it would not help. It would not hurt, the franchise to do effectively what Marvel did and bring in someone, I'm not saying this particular person, but someone of this ilk, someone like a Kenneth Branagh. Someone who is perhaps a bit more theatrical, is a bit more...
It's an interesting
a bit
idea.
older, a bit more grounded. And, I think one of the reasons that Wonder Woman, and she's by no means old, but one of the reasons that Wonder Woman, I think, is there's an air of maturity and sort of, experience and knowledge to the director of that film that I think is coming across on screen. And it's less about making it colourful and making it exciting and dynamic. And it's actually making sure that, there's that. But there's also that better drawn back end with, character development, with visualization, with making it hold together. And kind of that ability to go, I know my shit. I've done X, Y, and Z. I've got myself proved at the box office. I know what I'm talking about. Yeah, I'll take creative input, but also you've got to give me the chance to do what I do. So maybe that might work.
Anyways, it's like... I was already hard on Warner Brothers on Twitter, so I don't want to be too hard on them on the show.
No.
It's just... This has got to get straightened out up there. It's a real mess.
Yeah.
Sticking in comic book movie territory.
Okay.
The Deadpool composer is leaving.
Yeah.
Junkie XL.
Yeah.
What is it, Tom Hulkenberg?
Yeah, I believe so.
He's leaving the sequel in solidarity with Tim Miller.
It's interesting
Not a good look.
Well, it's interesting where this project is going, because a couple of things that really made, aside from the talent, was obviously the directing and the music. For me, music is like an extra character in a movie. And that... It just, a little bit of the key components are now not there. And I'm certainly not worried about Deadpool 2 at this stage. But it is kind of like, what do they know that we don't know? And it does cause me a little bit of concern.
I mean, it's just a composer. I didn't think that his work was actually anything special in the first Deadpool.
Okay. I mean, I personally really enjoyed it.
I don't think it's like a blow to the sequel, other than just like, what is going on over there that nobody seems to be getting along.
So, Jonathan Peck has just said in the chat, what about George Miller for The Flash? Now, I think
it would be great if they could get George Miller, but I don't know, like, why would George Miller come in and do this at this stage?
I mean, he's
not that kind of guy.
But he's on the good list at Warner, obviously after Mad Max.
I don't see him just coming in, like, basically taking two people's leftovers. Like, George Miller is something who's going to build something from the ground up.
Yeah. Maybe that's what they need. Maybe they do need someone who is going to come and go and like, let's all just push all this shit off the table and start again.
One person, okay, so Deadpool composer, all right. Speaking of Deadpool, Tim Miller.
Yeah.
Going to executive produce a Sonic the Hedgehog movie. This sounds like it would have been a great idea about 15 years ago.
Yeah.
Do kids still play Sonic the Hedgehog?
I honestly don't know, to be honest with you, but I just read that and I was like, is this like from a spoof website? And then I looked at it and it was actually from various reputable sources.
I just, maybe I just can't see it. I don't know. Sonic the Hedgehog movie.
Doesn't do anything for me at all.
Can you see little kids buying a bunch of little blue hedgehogs?
No.
I guess I can see that.
I don't know. I mean...
Is that why you make a movie these days, to sell the toys? Yes.
Yeah. What are you trying to say? Oh, the truth. But yeah, I don't know if kids, who I'm assuming this is going to be aimed at, certainly the younger end of the market, are that interested in Sonic anymore.
Beats me.
I mean, they're not even interested in stuff like Angry Birds to the extent that they would have been 5 years ago and stuff like that. I mean, hey, the Emoji movie's coming out.
Just like Deadpool is obviously very playful, but it's hard to me imagine. Like, it's hard for me to imagine
foul-mouthed Sonic
Tim
the
Miller,
Hedgehog.
right? Going and doing a kids movie.
Where are my rings, motherfucker? I don't know.
One guy who should be a superhero and very, very soon, if not James Bond himself, is Dan Stevens.
Yeah. Good old Dan.
Who just signed on to star in Gareth Evans' new movie, Apostle. Gareth Evans is the director of the Raid movies. Is this not a match made in heaven?
As a wise man once said, fuck yeah.
Dude, this is an amazing pairing.
I've interviewed Gareth many, many times over the years. I love The Raid. The Raid 2 wasn't quite as good for me, but I still found it a really great
I think it's totally different and equally great in its own right.
But I, as an individual and as a director, I genuinely really, 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 really like him, and I really rate him. I absolutely fucking adore Dan Stevens.
Yeah.
Absolutely love Dan Stevens. And this, for me, is, as you say, a match made in heaven. It's one of the films I read about this week that genuinely I was like, whoa, that shit can't happen soon enough.
What'd you think of the premise? So the premise was like his sister goes missing, and then he goes to find her, and like a cult has her, and then the cult starts demanding a ransom, and then it goes from there.
Sexy. I like it.
It's like a little generic, but I like the cult is a nice twist.
It is generic, but look at some of Gareth's other movies. They're in design, they're not generic, but the story at the center of it
right.
is a tale as old as fucking time.
And he puts a new twist on it.
Yeah.
Listen, I'm
kind of like,
either way.
Give him that little bit of the middle. Give him the pizza base with the tomato on it, and let him put all the shit he wants on it.
You can't judge a movie by its log line.
But I like that log line.
Yeah.
And
I like the title,
director.
Apostle.
Yeah.
Apostle. Dude, you seen Apostle tonight? that's how I do.
Dude.
That's how I do everything.
Who says that apart from
Dude.
Jesus?
Dude, you seen Apostle?
Hey, dude, check out my apostles. Yeah. I like that.
Justin Kroll had a big story this week.
He did. He's doing really well. He likes the show. Fan of the show.
Dropped a big one.
Yeah.
Fede Alvarez is going to direct The Girl in the Spider's Web. Is that what it's called? Girl in the Spider's Web?
Something like that, yeah.
Yeah. Now, this is not... this is the fourth book that was not written by Stieg Larsson,
Correct.
right?
Yes. This is not the ones that were part of the original film trilogy.
Right.
I like Fede. I like his filmmaking. I didn't love Evil Dead, but I really enjoyed the design and the way it came together in the finished product. I think there were some things about it that didn't quite sit, but you're comparing it to a classic movie.
I don't love the Evil Dead either, but
Don't Breathe
was really good.
was superb. And he managed to do superb. And he managed to do so much with a very small budget. That was superb. That was that actually a sound effect?
It was.
Brilliant.
Let me
Perfectly
mute this
timed.
shit.
But yeah, I mean, I would be genuinely really excited to see what he could do with that. I think he can add a level of griminess that I think was missing from the first film.
Missing?
As
David Fincher?
but Fincher's vision for the girl with the dragon tattoo,
immaculate.
Yeah, and it wasn't as kind of sort of low-level gnarly that
Visceral.
Visceral and like, ooh, dirty.
That's fair.
So I think Fede can bring to it, but in a really stylistic and clever way without being overtly...
I really like this as well. I think he's a good match for that material, and I don't know the book.
No, I don't. So I'm wondering...
But I like that we haven't seen like a Swedish version of this.
Yeah.
You know? This is brand new. So now the question turns to casting.
Yeah.
And if you read some of the blogs, they caught that Variety had it up in their story that Rooney Mara was probably going to return.
Good.
And then they took it out. So that may be up in the air. Now, I reported months and months and months ago that if Rooney did fall out, Sony really liked Alicia Vikander. What do you like? Do you want Rooney back?
I would,
because to me, it's like I don't think she should come back unless they're getting Daniel Craig back. I think that would be weird if she was paired with a different guy as that character. You know what I mean? Like they're like a package deal to me. You?
Yeah, I mean they kind of are, but out of the two, she was the one that I would really like to see come back.
Well, she's the girl with the dragon tattoo.
Yeah,
like, she's why you go to see the movie. You don't go see it for Daniel Craig's character.
Daniel Craig, and there's a girl in it with a tattoo. Right. But no, I mean, just out of watchability and the ones that, made me go, ooh, fucking hell, she's good. She was definitely the one. But I mean, yeah, I mean, I think if you bring them back, you do ideally do a package deal. And it depends on where Daniel Craig stands on Bond and where they're looking to film this and blah, blah,
So
blah.
you wouldn't just start over?
I personally, for me, I think when you recast a movie where you've already had two people in that role, when you recast them,
Right.
it just in a sequence of films, and I'm assuming they'll do a second and potentially a third, it just doesn't feel right for me.
I'm surprised that Rooney,
Because I think with things like Iron Man, you can swap out a character, get someone else to play a character, but then if you change
Rhodey,
both
yeah.
Iron Man and you're it's just a bit. Hey, let's not remake the film, but let's do another film in the
that
series,
was so
but
weird.
with different.
That
It was weird.
That is weird.
Yeah. But yeah, I mean, changing both of them would probably bother me more than changing one of them.
I think it should just be Kate Mara. See if we notice a difference.
Yeah. Give it a go. That'll be on the extras. There'll be two versions of the film.
One with Rooney, one with Kate.
Rooney, one with Kate.
All right.
Can I talk about Sly Stallone?
Yes. Go for it.
A lot of news for Sly this week. Obviously, he's been very busy sending out press releases. New Rambo movie
New Rambo.
coming out. Or at least in production, early stages. Stallone will not be returning as Rambo. He has been talking for many years about, yes, there'll be another Rambo movie. Yes, he'd like to come back and do it. As much as for me, John Rambo will always be Sylvester Stallone.
Yeah, like what? What is this? Like, who would be Rambo?
Kevin Hart. No.
Taylor Kitsch is Rambo.
For me, I don't want to see a Rambo movie without Stallone in it, but I also don't want to see another Stallone Rambo because I just think he's too old for Rambo now.
Dude, Rambo. First of all, Rambo means nothing to me. I have no loyalty.
Did you not watch those growing up?
No. Those aren't for me.
Do you know what's really
I have
funny
no
is
affection
I
for
know
it.
so many people now who I talk to who haven't seen the Rambo movies, and it's really interesting. Rambo 3 was set in a really interesting time in a slightly dull, but American and Soviet relations involving Russia and Afghanistan, etc., etc. And it's funny how many people haven't seen those. There's a whole part of this history that's related to, America and
I saw the
Russia and
last
Afghanistan.
Rambo movie. Wasn't there like one like 10 years ago?
There was, yeah, where he went to Asia.
Right. I saw that.
Yeah, no, this Rambo 3 was part of the original trilogy.
Actually, that wasn't bad.
Yeah, and it's, but it's just, for me, he is Rambo. I don't want to see a Rambo movie without Stallone. I don't want to see a Rambo prequel, because that doesn't make any fucking sense.
No. John Bernthal is Rambo. Ooh.
Yeah, because Rambo got very upset about, obviously, I say very upset's an understatement, about the war, Vietnam War. That's what changed him as a man. And then, you kind of, what happens before that pisses John Rambo off? What?
I don't fucking know, dude.
Returning
Let's
VHS
hope that
tapes
doesn't
late?
come out on the Schmodown.
I just don't-
I don't know my Rambo.
I just don't. I don't know. I don't know where they're going to take it. And if they're going to take it in the same time period, you've got to have Stallone doing it.
should
He's
take it
just
out
too
back and
fucking
shoot
old.
it in the face.
Yeah, they should take it out back. Take Rambo out back and
Well,
shoot him.
that's Millennium Films
But
for
he
you.
is coming back for Escape Plan 2.
A movie that just has been crying out for a sequel. I
Yeah.
know at the end of Escape Plan, all of you were like, "Oh my god, how is this story going to continue?"
Yeah.
Another-
I've been sleepless many sleepless
What is
nights.
he going to escape from this time? An old age home?
Probably. It's three
kick-
hours long,
to
and he
kick
only
my-
gets
to kick my
he
ass
only
for
gets to
saying
the
that.
foyer. But we don't know if Arnie's going to return. But
Oh, please.
As-
Please, Arnie, please return.
he's too busy making straight to your
Dude,
iPhone video
there's-
games
First
at the
of all,
moment.
isn't he going to do The Apprentice?
Oh yeah, he is.
He's doing The Apprentice, so I bet they get like Statham. Statham comes in, he's like, Sly Stallone, you want me
Fucking hell,
escaping?
I'm in a jail.
Let's
you
fucking
wanker. Slakes. Yeah, I mean, do you know what? I'd be really up for that, actually, Jason Statham. But I
sure
would
you
love
would.
to see them.
It's another junket you get to hang out.
Have I ever spoken about that? Wankers away. Yeah, I really enjoyed Escape Plan. It was not a massive commercial success, and it was not a particularly great movie.
You take
It
that
was-
back. You take that back right now.
It's fun. It's just a fun movie. And that came out at a time when there were a couple of other movies that reminded me of like 80s and 90s sort of movies, like Lockout with Guy Pearce, which I absolutely loved. So Escape Plan 2.
You're that guy. You're that guy. Like when there's like a Lockout ad, it's like, I absolutely loved it.
Yeah. If you only see one space prison-based movie this year.
You're that guy.
I am that guy.
Simon, be the guy who tells us about the box office right now.
Hey, would you like to know some facts and figures?
Yes, please.
Okay, a couple of big movies coming out this weekend. Doctor Strange is obviously the one that everybody seems to be talking about right now. It had a really good international opening recently. Previews last night, 9.4 million.
It's a lot of millions.
That's a lot of millions. Here, sir. Got any spare millions? Got 9.4 of them. Looking at a weekend opening of 85, 87, possibly a little bit more.
85 to 87?
That's according to Box Office Mojo this weekend. So I think that's a little bit high.
I underestimated that, if that's the truth.
I think it's going to come in around
I put it at 80.
82 maybe.
Ooh, okay.
But they're, 80, 85, 87. Also out this weekend, we can talk about what we thought about Doctor Strange in a second. Trolls, which is one of the films that I think has been promoted for one of the longest.
I feel like Trolls is going to explode this weekend. How did that do?
Well, 900,000 last night, and they're looking at a 36 million.
No one's going to see Trolls at 10 o'clock at night.
Did a review of this for IGN.
Yeah, did you?
I did. Gave it an 8 out of 10 because
an 8 out of 10.
As annoying as it is, and it's really fucking annoying, it's absolutely adorable. And it's so annoying that you just actually give in and you let it wash over you.
Let me ask you, if you
I was not expecting to like it.
If you could have troll hair, what color hair would it be?
Blue. Like a blue rinse. Like some Betty White shit.
So how is like Anna Kendrick and Justin Timberlake with the song sketchy? Was Princess Poppy fun?
She's so sassy. I'll never do that again. Yeah, I mean, they're fine. I mean, there's too many characters in the movie. It's enjoyable, the movie is. I mean, they just do like mixes of songs and but then they have really poppy ones like Junior Senior and stuff like that, and then they have Gorillas, and I'm like, what the fuck? It's a weird soundtrack, but it's strangely attractive.
Can you say that last line? We actually have a viewer request.
What is it?
Can you say that last line as Kevin Hart? People want to hear more of your Kevin Hart impression.
What do they want to hear me say?
I got a lot
Kevin
of calls
Hart?
about that.
Really?
They're like, Simon is hilarious.
Thank you. Simon is
just... What am I, chopped liver?
One big fucking
I'm fucking
joke.
hilarious too.
But yeah, I mean, they're fine. I mean, there's too many people in the movie, there's too much going on, but they're just stupid jokes like, trolls, shitting themselves because they're scared and they come out as cupcakes. And, little troll things farting glitter on. But it's fucking infantile and really stupid. But
it's absolutely adorable.
It's so adorable.
And it's an 8 out of 10.
It's good fun. It was really fun. Hacksaw Ridge also out this weekend. Very different. Very different.
I liked Hacksaw Ridge.
Previews last night, Thursday, 750,000, looking at a 16 million opening. I was hoping for something a bit bigger for that.
Oh, no, I was looking at 12, so that's
really?
great. That's great.
Okay, so I was looking at about 18 for that this weekend. So 16, it's
a war movie with Andrew Garfield, like...
But
it's not. This isn't Brad Pitt and Fury.
But it's the weekend before a presidential election when everyone is at maximum America. America's great.
And it's Mel
right
Gibson,
now.
Which is going to automatically keep people away.
That's true.
But listen, I really liked Hacksaw Ridge. So, like, what'd you think?
I haven't seen it. It's one of the films out this weekend that I haven't seen that I genuinely did want to see.
Yeah, it's good. Like, I definitely recommend seeing Hacksaw Ridge.
Yeah.
Andrew Garfield's very good in it. I like Vince Vaughn as well. The war scenes, like the battle scenes, are visceral.
Yeah.
I mean, this is definitely, as I say in my review, it should be up by now. This is definitely a movie made by the director of The Passion of the Christ, Apocalypto, and Braveheart. Like, those are 3 super violent movies when you really examine them. And this one is super violent as well. So, not for the kids, but a great story of Desmond Doss, the first conscientious objector.
Yeah, I mean, I genuinely want to see that. I'm actually going to pay to go and see that if I can find some time this weekend. I'm ludicrously busy. But Doctor Strange, now you saw it a couple of weeks ago.
Yeah, did you see it?
I saw it last week. Yeah, I saw it on Tuesday.
Did we talk about it on the show last week or no?
No, because I hadn't seen it. It's not in my top 5 Marvel movies.
I think it's in mine.
Is it?
I think so.
Yeah, see, I did really enjoy it. I love Benedict Cumberbatch. There was a lot about it that I did really enjoy. Wasn't a massive fan of Mads Mikkelsen.
Me either, really. Like, he was good, but
Fine.
in terms of, like, his character, there wasn't, like, much to that, and I didn't really understand what was going on with him. He was just so kind of there all the time.
Chewie was good, but I kind of expected a bit more for him. Chiwetel Ejiofor.
Oh, yeah, he was good.
He was good. Tilda Swinton, fucking loved.
She's fantastic.
Absolutely genius.
It's maybe the best performance. Like, maybe I got carried away saying this could be the first Oscar-nominated Marvel performance.
You're not the only person that said that, and each time I read it, I'm kind of like...
Yeah, it's maybe a little ridiculous, but it may be the best performance in a Marvel movie. What do you think about that?
Not unfair. Not unfair at all. It's a solid performance.
Yeah,
it's a good dramatic performance. That would be in any film. I think she just brings that. Whatever, but it just really fits this
which is
really
so
perfectly.
funny given all the controversy around her casting specifically. Obviously, that's with regard to whitewashing and the racial stuff. But I think that the filmmakers felt like, listen, if we're gonna do that and change the race, we're gonna change the gender as well.
I saw it in 3D IMAX. There are people in the chat room who were saying, I saw Doctor Strange last night. It's from Jonathan Peck in 3D, and it was great. I saw it 3D IMAX. One of the few films I've seen in the last 12 months that actually warrants being
It was very good in
that
3D.
format.
I just get a headache from 3D, and
Yeah.
it does dull the colors.
And at times, I actually felt a little bit motion sick with some of the visual effects, which are
Weren't they amazing?
spectacular,
Yeah.
by the way. So I was more than happy to feel queasy. But can I just give a massive shout out to Benedict Wong?
Yeah.
Who I thoroughly enjoyed as the guardian of the library. I thought he was excellent and genuinely really funny. For being so dour throughout it, and then the little moments of comedy were just perfectly measured.
Well, I love the cloak.
I loved him.
I love the cloak of
Cloak was
levitation.
awesome. Best supporting actor, maybe, for the Oscars?
Which someone called, right, exactly, which someone called the magic carpet from Aladdin.
Okay.
I think that was in Drew McWeeney's
Fair
review
point.
last night.
Fair point.
Which, by the way, if you guys are missing Drew McWeeney, one of our favorites here on Meet the Movie Press, he has a blog, the name of which escapes me, but I will find it for you right now. So if you're missing Drew, who's not a hit fix anymore, be sure to check out his blog.
Yeah. We should get him
Pulp
on.
and Popcorn. Pulp and Popcorn.
We should get him on, actually.
We should, because we love Drew.
Yeah. But yeah, so I enjoyed Doctor Strange. For me, it's not. For you, it is top 5. For me, it's not. It's just outside. But I really enjoyed it as a film. It was great
To
fun.
me, it was just different. It was different than a typical Marvel movie.
Yeah. Rachel McAdams.
Let's talk about that. So it's not that she was weak. It's just it's a thankless role. There's nothing for her to do in this movie except
it's not her fault.
Keep saving doctors, as a nurse or whatever.
I like there was a brilliant scene where she's trying to revive Doctor Strange, Stephen Strange.
That was really cool.
And there's something that happens around her while she's trying to do it. I did like that.
Yeah, she reacts well in those scenes.
Yeah.
She's as good as you can ask her to be. But
Was expecting a bit more from Benjamin Bratt.
Oh, just more scenes with him?
More scenes with him?
I gotta say, I thought he was great.
Yeah?
I thought he was so good in this movie. He only has 2 scenes, but he's fantastic.
Yeah. Yeah, it's not a criticism of him.
Really like Benjamin Bratt.
Yeah. I think we won't have seen the last of him. I think he might pop up. I don't know much about his
That
character.
would be awesome.
But I don't think...
So anyways,
Because the scenes that he
stay
were in
through
had
the
impact.
credits.
Yes,
stay through the
definitely.
credits of Doctor Strange.
There are 17 post-credit sequences. You will need to
Even
book
when the
a
lights come
babysitter.
up and the ushers start sweeping up,
Just
sit there and
shit.
something will happen.
Benedict keeps
The
talking.
ring opens.
Stan Lee comes back. It's amazing. No, he doesn't. I'm talking to Stan Lee next week.
Very cool. I went
Just
to
thought I'd
Stan
drop
Lee's
that in.
Comic-Con this week.
How was that?
I'd never been to a con before. It was cool. I went, for the Schmodown, and I was on a panel, and it was awesome. We had a nice turnout, so I appreciate everybody out there who went. I didn't actually go on the floor, so I still don't know if I can really say I attended a con if I haven't been on the floor. But Jesus Christ, that convention center was packed with people in elaborate costumes. Like, this shit is just hanging in the closet? Some of these costumes, it was crazy.
Yeah.
And there's just so many of them, and wow.
Cons are kind of awesome.
It was
love
wild. Like, just looking down on everybody from the second floor or the third floor, as far as I could see.
Yeah.
Geeks, fellow my people.
Should have gone on the floor. Might have got laid.
Might have gotten laid.
Might have got laid, man.
Is that all you can think
Hey,
about
bro,
at a
might have
time
got laid,
like
bro.
this? There's also a Loving is opening this weekend.
Yeah, in only a few theaters, which is a shame because
It's a
that's a
limited-
film
it's a limited rollout.
I really want to watch. I've done a couple of features on this for Reuters this week, and
Oh, you did?
yeah, and I
Did you see it?
No, I haven't
Yeah.
seen it, unfortunately.
Oh, you say I really want to see it.
But yeah, I do really want to see it. So I mean, I think that's going to be a case of because it's in so few theaters. I still want to see Moonlight as well, and I've got a very busy couple of weeks. I'm just kind of like I might have to wait till those hit, which pains me because I like to support these smaller movies. I like to pay to go and see them, but sometimes they're quite hard to find, even in LA, and time just doesn't work out. But I do want to see both those movies. But Loving looks like a really nice piece of filmmaking, and I love Jeff Nichols' work.
Listen, it is. It is a nice piece of filmmaking, and that's
Yeah.
as far as I can really go with it. I thought it was just kind of like traditional, and I was expecting a little bit more out of Jeff Nichols, more emotion. I didn't feel it as much as I thought I was going to. And while Ruth Negga is very good, and Joel Edgerton's good too, although it's a kind of a weird performance. Well, Ruth Negga is really good, but I don't know that either one of these two should really be up for awards conversations. I didn't really get that vibe at all.
Okay.
And a lot of people have Ruth in their predictions at the moment. I don't know if I see that happening.
Can I just say that if you haven't seen Joel in either The Gift or Kinky Boots, you should watch both of those movies.
I love The Gift. I love Joel
Joel's
Edgerton.
awesome.
Yeah.
Joel's awesome. I interviewed him for Kinky Boots and many things after that. And him and Chiwetel Ejiofor in that are just fucking, I love him.
A lot of people...
Genius.
I think he's great. But this performance, it's a weird character. You'll have to see the movie to sort of get what I'm talking about. I also saw this movie Elle last night from Paul Verhoeven. It's a French film about a woman who's raped.
Right.
Kind of repeatedly in the movie.
Wow.
It was intense, but again, super weird. Like I expect to see a lot of think pieces and interesting essays about what goes on in this movie. Isabelle, I'm not going to know how to pronounce this, but I think it's Isabelle Huppert.
Okay.
She is wonderful in the film. She's getting a lot of Oscar buzz as well. It's really why I wanted to see it. Because I'm doing the Oscar map over at Mashable these days.
I saw you tweeting about those.
Yeah. And it's been going well. I didn't know that Warren Beatty is actually running in a lead category for Rules Don't Apply, not supporting.
I'm going to go and see that.
Really won.
Next week after?
I may do that because I may do the junket for that. Everybody wants to talk to Alden Ehrenreich.
Of course they do.
Yeah, they do.
Of cource they do.
Is
he doing something that people might want to know about?
Huh?
Is he going to be doing something? You know, people are going to go in. No Star Wars questions. No Star Wars. Hey,
I
if
think
Warren
that they'll-
Beatty made a Star Wars movie,
Right.
would you be in it? What? What would you say about this movie if it was set in Star Wars?
Are you doing Kevin Hart as a junket interviewer?
Hey, not enough worlds made in stars.
Wait, but do you pay attention to the award stuff?
Yeah, I do. I'm going to be working the awards for the first time this year.
Who do you think is going to win Best Picture?
I don't know yet.
Who do you think? What do you think?
I just don't know. I need to see more of the films.
Okay, no, that's
there's a
fair.
few ones that are in the running that I haven't seen, so I don't think I'm informed enough to think about that right now.
All right. Well, a movie that's going to be filming soon.
I mean, Ride Along 2 is obviously a contender.
right.
Sorry.
Of course. Okay, Olivia Munn.
Yeah,
Olivia
the
Munn.
Predator.
Joining the Predators. She's going to be the female lead in the movie.
She is.
Fox obviously likes her. She was in X-Men Apocalypse.
Will she be Mrs. Predator?
Brian! It's 9:30. You've been out predatoring all day. It's about time you came home. The predator babies need feeding. I've got to get my hair done. And the Bachelorette's on television.
Guys, Simon Thompson, everybody.
Thank you. I'll be here all week. No, I live here now.
I like it. I mean, it's the cast is shaping up differently than I was expecting. I'll say that much. Boyd Holbrook and Olivia Munn thought that they might really be able to get some A-list kind of talent.
I want James Franco on board.
I like both of them, but the Predator brand may need a little bit more firepower behind it.
Yeah, it's going to be set in the suburbs, which to me...
Is it really?
Yeah, apparently it is.
Holy
it's going
shit,
to move.
okay, I didn't
it's
know
going to
that.
move to the suburbs.
That's fucking crazy.
It is fucking crazy, but it also kind of reminded me of Aliens vs. Predator Requiem, which was a shit dick of a movie.
I didn't even know. Alien versus Predator
Requiem. Not an opera. I would have watched that.
I love
though.
how they have like a classy
Alien versus
word,
Predator, the musical.
a classy word like Requiem after Alien versus
Yeah.
Predator.
People were going, what?
They're like, what's a Requiem?
What's a requiem? What is a requiem, Brian? Yeah. Mama, what's a requiem? I'm quite interested with that. I could see domesticated predators.
Those aliens next door,
Like they
they've
have,
let the dog out again. Wankers.
people have predators as pets and stuff, or would it be like a peeping tom? Like there's a predator outside. Mom, did you see that?
A predator outside.
Dogs barking.
The predator's
Like
still
a,
my
like
underwear
a real
again.
horror movie.
Yeah.
Like, it's like a slasher movie, but with the predator.
I would watch that.
Kind of be cool.
I like this. You know that Marlon Wayans is collecting these ideas, and he's going to make a Predator spoof movie.
Right.
Yeah.
Paul Feig.
Shit, we're giving him an idea.
Paul Feig is going to direct Mindy Kaling's late night talk show host movie. Great get for that movie. Like, I think Crow was subtweeting me when he said that some people were harping on this project when he first announced it, and I do remember tweeting something like, "Who is this for?" Like a movie where Mindy Kaling and Emma Thompson are dueling late night hosts. Like, I guess.
Well, the pitch is Devil Wears Prada meets broadcast news, which a lot of people really liked, and I'm up for this. I like Paul as a director. I want to see.
I think it's great. Like that. God, sorry.
Yeah, no, one thing that Paul tends to do, and I'm hoping this is going to go obviously for a higher certification than Ghostbusters, because one of the things I love a lot about Paul's work is his really creative swearing. And I think when he's going towards that R-rated kind of thing, I think
That's sort of what I was
where
getting
he
at.
really
It
excels.
has to be R-rated because like
Yeah.
are teenage girls really going to turn out for this?
No,
I don't think so.
I don't think so. I think it's...
This is for hopefully a movie for adults. I don't
It's
know.
post-millennial.
I don't know what the tone is. I don't really watch the Mindy Project, so I can't speak to how she is as a lead. Her versus Emma Thompson could be interesting, and I like the idea of Emma Thompson as really successful late night talk show host.
Yeah.
But,
I want to see Emma Thompson swearing. 'cause
all I know is
love
it
Emma
bodes
Thompson.
well for the project. Paul Feig.
Does.
And I like that he's doing something a little bit smaller and character driven after Ghostbusters.
Talking of character-driven
Yeah.
films, we won't talk about this much, but good news, the script for Major League 3 is apparently good to go, according to Charlie Sheen. Moving on.
Starship, what about Starship Troopers?
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
I got a like on this from Swift and Shannon
Okay.
yesterday. I'll tell you why in a second, and you'll love it. Starship Trooper reboot. Swift and Shannon, who are obviously behind the Baywatch reboot, which is coming out next year, they've been tasked with the job of basically rebooting Starship Troopers. Apparently, it's going to be something slightly different. It's not going to be a direct remake. I tweeted yesterday and said that I would be totally cool with that. I love the original. All I'm asking is that there are cameos for Neil Patrick Harris and Casper Van Dien.
Dude, you want cameos from the wrong people. How about Denise Richards?
How about Denise Richards?
Yeah, that's who I want a fucking cameo from.
Is she available, though?
She's doing Major League 3 with Charlie Sheen.
She's a busy girl. She's a busy girl.
Starship Troopers, apparently they're going back to
love that
the
movie.
Heinlein novel,
Yeah.
which I didn't read, and apparently is super dark and like different from the movie. I think, and that's Verhoeven as well.
It is.
Who we were just talking about. I liked Starship Troopers back in the day. It was goofy fun. I think that they would need a similar kind of tone, like a Zombieland kind of tone, something tongue in cheek to pull this off. I don't need another serious space franchise kind of thing.
No?
No, there's enough of them.
I just want to keep it fun.
Everything's in fucking space these days, man. How many times have we, did you see the Life trailer?
Yes.
Listen, I love Jake Gyllenhaal. I'm going to see that movie, but feels like I've seen like 8 different variations of it before.
Yep. I'll still watch it, though, because I like the cast.
So Starship
Although
Troopers,
Ryan Reynolds
we'll
looks
see who
about
they get to direct.
10 years old in that trailer. He looks really young.
Yes. Starship Troopers, it like reminds me of like the RoboCop remake, where
Yeah.
it's like, is this really a good idea?
That sucked dicks.
And I want to close the show with the release date stuff. Mm-hmm. So Sony delayed The Dark Tower from February to next summer.
Yep.
Pushed Jumanji from that summer date to Christmas.
Which is strange, as they're doing set visits for Jumanji at the moment. They had people on set in Hawaii this week.
Right. They moved up Equalizer 2 weeks.
Yeah.
It's just, what is the point of dating these movies 2 years out only to like switch them around 10 months later, and I'm sure that something will get switched again, like Equalizer 2, because is that really going to be ready in 8 months?
I think we've had this conversation before. I think they should just stop putting dates on things.
Yeah, it's crazy.
And just keep it broader, like summer 2018.
Same thing like Paramount is releasing World War Z 2 in June. David Fincher hasn't signed on to direct that yet, has he? Is that like officially confirmed? I feel like they definitely would have shouted that from the rooftops if it was. I know I didn't. I was invited to the Paramount Slate presentation. Did you go to that?
No.
I didn't. I didn't feel.
I would have loved to have gone, but they didn't invite me.
I didn't feel well, so I didn't. I went home after my Bad Santa 2 screening, which I can't talk about.
Okay. I had to skip that this week.
But what's it? Fucking World War Z 2 was in that presentation, so they do still plan on making it. But is it really going to be ready in 7 months?
Well, this is
that's ridiculous.
I mean, I remember doing a movie show in the UK in 2011, and even then, they were, like all the Sony stuff, they were talking about the new Ghostbusters movie. They didn't have an idea, they didn't have a script, they didn't have a focus for it. It's like Ghostbusters movie in like 2012 or whatever. And I'm just like, it didn't happen. So you just don't know with these things. Baby Driver, again, has been pushed from spring into summer, but I've been hearing some interesting things about that.
Baby Driver's going to be cool. I'm looking forward to that. But yeah, all these, like Sony moved its entire slate around. Again, it's beyond me why even bother holding yourself to a release date when it's just going to change anyways.
Yeah, and I just don't think it really... I think they leave themselves open to more criticism by doing that.
They do. It's only a bad thing when dates are moving around.
Just go by the quarter. Spring 2018, because then you're moving blip. It does. If you have to move things around, it doesn't look so bad. Rather than going, you're doing it from February.
Yes, you're still promising stuff in that regard.
Yeah,
but,
true.
We got time. We got 2.5 minutes left. Simon.
Okay,
how do you
cool.
want to spend it? Dealer's choice.
Okay, here a couple of things I'm going to run through very quickly.
Lightning round from Simon.
Another Disney movie that's animated classic stood still long enough for them to decide to turn it into a live-action movie. Snow White. Bing, bingo, well done.
I went off on a rant this week. It's just... They're just going down the list. What does a creative meeting at Disney look like? Just looking at the library titles and picking one? Like...
Yeah. Fox and the Hound, 3 Calaberas.
Although I did like the supporting cast of A Wrinkle in Time. It's like a weird kind of cast.
Yeah.
But it could be interesting.
Next thing, James Cameron wants a glasses-free 3D for Avatar sequels. I hate to break it to you, but real life is actual fucking 3D, James Cameron.
That's true. But wait, glasses free 3D? Yeah. How does that
I'm assuming he's got people dressed up as Na'vi fucking running around the theater. Right. Look at me, I'm a Na'vi! I can only assume. Because otherwise, it's just basically... life.
I want to see that Cirque du Soleil show.
Yeah. Monsters, Inc. 3, directed the first one, Pete Docter, who he said this week, don't rule it out. It's not actually happening at the moment, but if they did, they'd kind of want to look at potentially doing a Peter Pan-esque thing where Boo's grown up and forgotten about the monsters.
Does anything get ruled out these days? Is anyone just like, listen, that's never getting made. We announced it, and it's never going to happen.
Stand still long enough, Monsters, Inc., and we're going to have Dwayne Johnson and The Rock in the live-action remake.
He would be a great Sully, a live-action Sully.
Yeah.
Did you see him as Pokemon
Look at me,
this week?
I was asking.
Did you see him as Pokemon?
I did.
Oh. That was great. It was great.
And finally, Doug Liman, Edge of Tomorrow 2 is going to be a sequel and a prequel, which was kind of...
a sequel, a prequel, a reboot, everything. It's going to be all these things.
Oh my God, we're remaking it while you're watching it! Yeah, basically, isn't everything that's going back and forward in time a sequel and a prequel? Because you're kind of going back and forwards in time?
That's a movie that doesn't need to be made.
Back to the Future, motherfucker. I'm going to watch it. It's Tom Cruise.
Okay, last question as we wrap up the show.
Okay.
Who should host the Oscars?
I'm available. I would like to see Kevin Hart.
Kevin Hart hosting the
Oscars.
All right.
TJ Miller.
A year after Chris Rock. Anyways, this has been Meet the Movie. This has been Meet the Movie Press, folks. I'm Jeff Sneider at The Insider on Twitter.
I'm Simon Thompson at Showbiz Simon on Twitter and Instagram, and this is Simon Thompson on Facebook. If only there was more to talk about.
Rate, comment, subscribe on the Popcorn Talk Network, all that good stuff. Have a good weekend, folks.
Yeah.
This has been Meet the Movie Press, folks.
I'm Simon Thompson at Showbiz Simon on Twitter and Instagram, and this is Simon Thompson on Facebook. If only there was more to talk about.
From producers Maria Menounos, Kevin Undergaro, Phil Svitek, Christian Harloff, and the entire Popcorn Talk Network, we would like to thank you for tuning in. For questions or comments, be sure to visit popcorntalk.com. I'm Sir Richard Wentworth, and this has been a presentation of the Popcorn Talk Network.
The views expressed herein are those of the hosts only and do not necessarily reflect the views of its owners or principals.